Hi, thanks for joining me. This is Angie at Chicken Scratch. This is the project we're making today. Okay, so this is another one of my painted season make and take projects. All the details are over on my website. Like I said, it's called the Painted Seasons Make and Take, okay? So let me show you the supplies. For this project, you're actually going to need 2 pieces of the same pattern, okay? They're 6 by 6. We've got a quarter sheet of Whisper White, 5.5 by 4 1/4. Early Espresso for our scallop square here. And I have gone ahead and cut out the scallop square and the Whisper White stitch square. And these measure, let's see, the stitch square measures 2 1/8 and the scallop square measures 2 1/4. We're using the, let's see, Painted Season stamp set with the coordinating framelits called 4 Seasons. If you're not a fan of this, another option would be this side right here. Let me exchange the paper or the bag out. And let me show you those 2 stamp sets. Oh, and I forgot to tell you the greeting on this side. It's from It's Your Day. So basically what I did is I just went to my stamp sets on my shelf and figured out which greeting would fit in the classic label punch. So whatever greeting you want to use. So for this side, I chose Incredible Like You, and then I used the flower from Bloom by Bloom with the coordinating punch. And then I took one of the basic pearls and colored it with our bronze Stampin' Blend marker. Okay, but of course this side is my favorite, and this is the one we're going to make. Okay, I'm going to remove all this out of the way, and we're going to start making our bag. Okay, so both pieces are going to be scored the exact same way. So we're going to start with the first one. We're going to score on 3 sides at 1 1/2. And then on the 4th side, we're going to score at 3/4. So same thing, 3 sides at 1 1/2. And then the 4th side at 3/4. Okay, now we're going to fold on the score lines. I have to say that when I first started playing with this paper, I wasn't that big of a fan of this pattern. Like, I loved the other ones. But this one was my least favorite. And then once I started using it, I changed my mind very quickly. It's crazy at how we just have to work with something and then we fall in love with it. Okay, so here's what I did. I folded that 3/4 inch side down. If you had a scallop punch, you could scallop the edge if you want to. I'm not going to do that today. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take my adhesive and I'm going to glue that down. So I am going to be using my liquid glue today. Just hold that there for a minute. I challenged myself. So a couple weeks ago, I told you guys that I'm always a hot mess. Like, I get glue all over myself. So I've challenged myself to use this glue at least once every day. Because you know what? When you do something for like 21 days, you usually master it. So do y'all ever challenge yourself? Okay, so now what I'm going to do, this is the top of our bag. I'm going to come down here to the bottom and I'm going to cut on these score lines up to that score line. And there will be a diagram on the inspiration sheet for you. And same thing on this side. Okay, now I'm going to give this teeny tiny trim. Well, and that didn't go all the way to the edge. There we go. Same thing on this one. Okay. Now let me show you how this is going to work. These are going to come in like that, okay? And you're going to do that to both pieces. So I'm going to take my liquid glue again. I have to laugh because, well, I just have to. It's kind of funny that I've challenged myself. Who knows, maybe in 3 days I might change my mind. Okay, so there's that side. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. I don't even know if that really works, counting to 3. Okay, there, that one's done. Now we're going to do the same thing to this one. I really do need my silicone craft sheet. That way I won't get adhesive on my desk here, or my paper. Hopefully I have that in the camera view. I just got to thinking I was holding that really close to my face. That may not be in y'all's view. I should have burnished the edge with my bone folder. So after you glue this down, burnish it again with your bone folder, okay? It'll fold in a little bit better. Okay, so now this is going to fit whichever side looks the best, okay? So they're just going to sandwich like that, and that looks pretty good to me. So here's what I'm going to do. The side that's going to be my front, that's going to be the one that's going to get the adhesive, and it's going to get adhesive down here and on 2 sides. So now you see why I'm using the liquid glue, because it's very forgiving. You can slide it around for a little bit before it's completely stuck down. When you use the tearing tape and you make this bag, if you don't get it exactly right on the first slide in, you're out of luck. Okay, so I've got adhesive on those 3 sides, and then I'm just going to slide, and then I want to make sure that my top looks good before it dries, okay? And it does. Now I'm going to take my bone folder that I should have used earlier and seal the bottom. Okay, wasn't that simple? I love it. Okay, let's stamp. In the kit, it's going to come with a 1/4 sheet, and you won't need all of it, but I just like to give a little bit of extra just in case you mess up. So this is the image that we're using, and people have been asking me, do you still need your Stampin' Write markers because you're always using the Stampin' Blends? So my answer is absolutely, because they're perfect for coloring on your stamps. They're not the best for coloring your images, but they're perfect for coloring on your stamp. So I'm taking my Early Espresso. I inked this up first with Calypso Coral, and now I'm just going to come in with my Early Espresso marker and color this centerpiece. I'm going to breathe on it now. Isn't that so beautiful? Okay, so now I'm going to get the big shot, and we're going to cut this image out, like I said, with the coordinating framelits. So I've got the magnetic platform and a cutting pad. And then the way I line this up is this has got this side that's somewhat flat. And as you can see on here, that's the flat side. So I just match those up. I always look for hacks or cheats or whatever, just ways to remember how to do something. So that little flat side is my reminder. Okay, so now I didn't cut that out too perfectly. It looks like it slid a little bit, but that's okay. So I'm going to attach the Whisper White stitch square to the Early Espresso. This is going to get popped up with a dimensional, just right in the middle. I liked placing it with that flat side at the top, but you can place it however you want. I stamped this flower like at least a dozen times, and then when I finished it, Brooke said, you know it's crooked, right? See, it's more to the right than it is to the left. I'm like, yes, I know. It's my sample. It's not the end of the world. It'll be okay. Okay, so now let's stamp the greeting. I'm using Early Espresso ink. You can tell that that ink pad has had a lot of love. Okay, so now we're going to take the 3x6 gusseted cellophane bag, and we're going to add our bow at the top. I'm going to put some old retired twine in there, and then we're going to add our 15 inches of the ribbon. You won't need all 15 inches. I just like to give you a little bit extra in case you mess up. Now I'm going to give this little cellophane bag away to someone, that little twine. So you can head over to my website, leave a comment to enter to win it. Okay, it looks pretty good. Let's see how it's going to look in here. Yep. It just needs more stuff in the bag because it's got a little light load right there, so it's not full, but you can see it. Okay, now let's go ahead and cut our image out, the greeting. This is going to get added with the mini dimensionals. I'm going to use 2 of them. I'm just using my paper piercer to pick them up. They're kind of tiny. And I'm going to add the greeting first. Okay? And now this one. Okay, so my original, and then one we just made. And then if you're not a fan of this side, you can use something like that. Yeah. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know. Don't forget, the free PDF is over on my website. Project 1 was this one. Project 2 was this one. This is Project 3. So all we have left is Project 4. Okay? Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Bye.